What's going on, everyone? My name is Joel Lipsky, construction business owner, advocate, and educator. I spent the last 20 years in the construction industry, on the job site and in the trenches, building companies, leading teams, and learning lessons the only way it's earned in this industry, through experience. Today, we're getting into something that I think is genuinely misunderstood in our industry: coaching versus mentoring. Most contractors use those words interchangeably. They are not the same thing, not even close. And if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to get out of the chaos and start operating with some real clarity, you need to understand the difference. Because if you choose the wrong one at the wrong time, you're going to waste your money, waste time, or worse yet, both. Let's get into it. First, let me tell you why this matters right now. Our industry is changing. We've got young guns coming up fast, hungry, and talented, but no one's showing them how to run a business. They can certainly build, they can manage a crew, but the business side, that's where people get stuck. And on the other side, you've got experienced guys, owners who've been doing this 15, 20 years, who are still working 60-hour weeks, still in the weeds, still reacting to everything. They're not growing. They're just surviving. They're getting by. Both of those people need help, but they need different help. One needs a mentor, one might need a coach, and some people, like myself, need both at different times for different reasons. So let me break this down clearly. So what is mentoring? Mentoring is a relationship. It's a more experienced person, someone who's been where you're trying to go, sharing their knowledge, their perspective, and their time with you. A mentor is not a service. They're not a vendor. They're someone you do not hire. A mentor is someone who invests in you because they want to see you succeed, because they have been where you have been at one point, because they remember what it felt like to figure it out all on their own, and they don't want you to have that same experience. In construction, a mentor might be a senior superintendent who takes on a young project manager under their wing. It might be a retired contractor who watches what you're doing and says, "Hey, I've been there. Let me save you from that mistake." In my case, I've been fortunate where I have people like my father, who's my biggest mentor, and I have other business owners because of networking events like the AGC, who have been so kind to me and taking me under their wing and providing me that mentorship. It might even be a peer or someone who's had a few steps ahead of you, who's willing to share with you what they've learned. But here's the thing about mentoring: it's organic. It doesn't have an agenda. There's no curriculum. There's no set schedule. It's not transactional. You're not paying for it. They're not doing it for a paycheck. It's built on trust and relationship over time. So what does a mentor give you? Perspective, real world experience that that person has gone through, access to their networks, to their contacts, to their hard won lessons and their dumpster fire disasters. It also gives you accountability, but the soft kind. Someone checking in on you because they care, not because it's their job. Wisdom that you cannot Google, the stuff that only comes from doing it for 20, 30 years in the field, in the construction industry. What mentoring is not, it is not structured. It is not systematic. A mentor doesn't have a framework for your business. They're not going to give you a 90-day action plan. And that's fine, because that's not why they're there. So what is coaching? Coaching is different. Coaching is structured. It's a professional service. You're engaging someone specifically to help you achieve a defined outcome. A coach doesn't need to have built a construction company themselves. A great coach needs to understand your industry well enough to ask the right questions and hold you accountable to your goals. But notice how I said your goals, and that's the key. A coach should not tell you what your goals should be. They help you get crystal clear on what you want, and then they build a process to help you get there. Good coaching in construction might look something like this. You're stuck, your revenue has plateaued, you're not sure if it's a sales problem, an operations problem, or a people problem. Maybe it's all three. A coach is going to help you diagnose that. They're going to ask the hard questions. They're going to make you look at the numbers, your systems, your team, and they're going to hold a mirror up to the way you're operating. Then they're going to hold you accountable week after week, month after month. And that's the difference. A coach has a plan. They have a structure. There's a defined engagement, a defined outcome, and regular check-ins on the accountability. You're paying for this process, and you should be. What a coach gives you is structured accountability. You show up, you do the work, you report back. They also give you clarity. someone helping you figure out what your priorities are and what your next move should be. They're going to help you develop systems, not just give you advice. They're going to help you develop repeatable processes. They're also going to give you objectivity. A coach isn't your friend. He's not your buddy. They're not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. What a coach is not, it is not a mentor. A coach isn't someone who necessarily lived your exact experience. A coach isn't someone necessarily who has ran a construction company. They're not sharing war stories over coffee. They're running a process. Let me lay this out clearly because I want this to stick. And I'm going to use the analogy that I think will make the most sense and provide the best visual, which is the UFC sport. I love the UFC. I'm drawn to it. And when I think about mentoring versus coaching, the UFC is actually the perfect way to explain this. Think about a seasoned fighter, someone who's been in the octagon, taking the hits, learned the hard lessons, and fought their way to the top. And now they're retired. They no longer compete, but they haven't necessarily walked away from the sport. That fighter becomes a mentor. That person is sitting across from you, and they're sharing everything, the lessons that they had to learn the hard way, different fighting styles and when to use them, which coaches specialize in what disciplines and why you need each of them, maybe even how to walk into a room with Dana White and negotiate a contract without getting crushed. They've done it all. They've lived it. And now they're guiding you through that because they've got no reason to hold anything back anymore. That's a mentor. They are there to guide you through that full journey of your career, not a 90-day engagement, not until you hit one specific goal. They are there for the long haul, sharing their experience so that you don't have to make the mistake for yourself. Now, a coach is completely different. As a UFC fighter, you've got a main coach. This person is in your corner every single day. They're holding you accountable to your training schedule, your diet, your recovery, your mental preparation. Day in and day out, they know your numbers. They know your habits. They know when you're slipping, sometimes even before you do. And here's the important thing. A great coach knows what they don't know. Say you're a striker. You're dangerous on your feet, but your jujitsu is a liability. Your main coach isn't going to pretend that they can fix that. They're going to send you to a specialist, a jujitsu coach who's going to close that gap. Not a weakness in the coaching relationship. That's exactly what good coaching looks like. Targeted, specific outcome. Your main coach is coordinating all that, keeping you on track, keeping you accountable daily, weekly, monthly, getting you ready for fight day. Do you see the difference now? A mentor guides you through your career. They walk the road before you. They share wisdom, perspective, and access freely because they've earned it and they want to give it. A coach keeps you accountable. They show up for specific purpose. They track your progress. They push you. They plug the gaps. They're in your corner on fight day and every single day leading up to it. In construction, your mentor might be a retired contractor who built that kind of company that you're trying to build. 30 years in the industry. They've seen every market cycle, every lawsuit, every hiring mistake. They're not billing you by the hour. They're investing in you because they see something worth investing in. Your coach is someone that you've engaged to hit a specific outcome. Grow revenue, fix your hiring process, build systems that scale. They have a plan. They're checking in on you, and they're not letting you off the hook when you fall behind. Both are essential. Both are powerful, but they are not the same thing. And you cannot use one to replace the other. Know what you need and then go get it. So who needs what and when? This is where I want to get real with you because this is the part most people skip. If you're early in your career, you're a project manager, future leader, maybe your parents own the company, your dad, and you know that you're in line to take over ownership. You need to be looking for a mentor. You need someone who's already done it to show you what the road looks like. You need exposure. You need context. You need to understand what you're getting yourself into before you start paying for a coach to optimize a business you haven't built yet. Find a mentor, be humble, and offer value in return. Show up, listen more than you talk. If you're an owner who's been in business 3 to 5 years and you've got some traction, you got some revenue, you've got a team, but you feel like you're spinning your wheels, that's when you go look for a coach. You've got enough of a foundation that a structured process can actually move the needle. A coach can help you see the gaps you're too close to seeing yourself. If you're scaling, if you're trying to go from 3 to 10 or from 10 to 30, you probably need both. A coach to hold you accountable to the plan and a mentor who's already operated at that level to give you the perspective and the access you cannot buy. Now, let me tell you what I see constantly happen in our industry. Contractors who don't want to pay for coaching try to get a mentor to become that coach. They want structured weekly outcome driven accountability from someone who's just trying to do them a favor. That burns the relationship fast. The mentor pulls back, and now you've both lost. On the flip side, contractors who pay for coaching but haven't done the inner work, haven't gotten clear on what they actually want, haven't accepted that their own habits are the problem, they go through coaching programs and get nothing out of it because the coach can give you the processes, but they will not and cannot do the work for you. Coaching doesn't fix mindset problems. Mentoring doesn't replace professional accountability. You've got to know what you're walking into. So for me and my brother, we've had both. We've had coaching and we have mentoring. And still to this day, I continue to get both. Early on, I had mentors, guys in the industry who took the time to share with me what they knew, who made introductions, who opened doors, and more importantly, taught me what not to do. And that was invaluable. And I've also worked with coaches, people that met with me weekly to go over a specific problem and hold me accountable to those commitments I make in order to resolve those problems. And here's what I'll tell you honestly. The mentors gave me perspective I couldn't have gotten anywhere else. The coaches gave me momentum I couldn't have created on my own. Both change how I operate, but at very different times for very different reasons. Don't wait for either one to come to you. You go find them. So real quick, because I know someone's going to ask, how do you go find a mentor? And I'll tell you this, you do not go find a mentor by sending out a cold email or a direct message saying, will you mentor me? That does not work. That's putting the burden on them without offering much in return. Here's how you actually do it. Show up where experienced people are. Industry associations, local AGC chapters, contractor networking events, trade events. Add value first. Don't ask for anything. Help, contribute, show up. Let people see your work ethic and your character. And be specific. If someone has done something, built a company that you aspire to be, tell them that. Tell them how you admire them and their wins and what they've done over the last few years. Offer to get coffee and hear their story on how they achieved it. Specific ask, low friction. And make sure you follow up with them. Send them invites to your wins. Share the wins. Don't just take. Keep the relationship alive. Mentors choose who they invest in. Make sure you're someone worth investing in. So, how do you get a coach? Coaching is a paid service, so make sure you do your homework. Look for relevant experience. They don't need to have built your exact company, but they need to understand construction. They need to speak the language. If they've never been on a job site and they're telling you how to run one, be skeptical. Ask about outcomes. What have their clients actually achieved? Not testimonials, outcomes. Revenue growth, system built, company scaled. Ask for specifics or even references. Understand the structure. How often do you meet? What's the format? What are you accountable to in between sessions? If it's vague, it's a red flag. And make sure there's a good fit. You're going to be doing some uncomfortable work in coaching. You need to trust the person pushing you. If the chemistry isn't there, the process is not going to work. And finally, be ready to be challenged. If you walk into coaching looking for someone to validate your current approach, you're wasting your money. The value is in the challenge, not the comfort. Get ready to be uncomfortable. So here's the bottom line. Coaching and mentoring are both powerful, both necessary. Neither is a shortcut, and neither one will work unless you're willing to put the work in. If you're serious about building a construction business that runs without you being in the middle of everything, you need people in your corner who've been there and people who will hold you accountable to getting there. And let me get personal for a second, because I do think this matters. I don't have one mentor. I have many. Each one has helped me in a different way, different perspectives, different experiences, different areas where they push me. But every single one of them shares two qualities. And these two things are non-negotiable for me. First, they are battery chargers, not battery drainers. Every time I walk away from a conversation with one of my mentors, I feel charged, motivated, like I can actually do this, like the things I'm reaching for are within my grasp, and they amp me up. They don't drag me down. They don't plant doubt. They destroy it. Second, they believe in me wholeheartedly. Every one of them. They believe in my ability, my vision, and my success. Sometimes even more than I believe in myself. And that is rare. That is something you can't take for granted. And for that, I am forever grateful for all the mentors in my life. And my responsibility, the way I pay that back, is to pass that along, to show up for others the way my mentors have shown up for me, to be the battery chargers in someone else's corner, to be the person who's looking at someone coming in this industry and say, I believe in you. And that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. Stop trying to figure it out all on your own. The most successful people in any industry, construction included, didn't get there by themselves. Find your mentor, invest in coaching when you're ready, and do the work. And that's it for today. If this hits home, share it with someone in the industry who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below. I want to know, do you have a mentor right now? Have you ever worked with a coach? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Let's build something together.